Hi everyone and welcome back. This is episode 9 of Moira Around Britain, where we go from Shoreham Harbour all the way round and up across the Thames Estuary up to Blakeney Harbour on the North Norfolk coast. Hi, well I'm actually making this video whilst on anchor in Canner Harbour, west coast of Scotland. I didn't quite manage to get all the video editing finished before setting off on this year's adventures. So here we are. I'll just show you where I am. It's just been a beautiful, quiet day here, doing some passage planning and just enjoying the sunshine, going for a walk on the hills above the harbour. It's a lovely spot. That's looking towards the Isle of Rum, which is very mountainous in comparison. That's the quay where the ferry comes in and supply boats. That yacht belongs to the guy who runs the cafe here, and that little low white building over there is a cafe and honesty shop for supplies. You can see it's just a very calm day. Wasn't a good day for sailing, so I thought I'd spend it here doing some passage planning. I'm hoping to head out to St Kilda on Saturday, so I'm going up to the north bit of Skye tomorrow and then across to Sound of Harris on Friday, and if it's still quite a calm day on Saturday as forecast, then I'll be heading out the 40 miles across to St Kilda for a night, which is pretty exciting. Anyway, let's carry on with the other video now. Cheers. So for the first half of the video we go from Chichester to Shoreham near Brighton and then around Dungeness for a temporary anchorage and reach Ramsgate. In Shoreham I met up with some friends and family and they took me for a nice meal out, and I had a great time staying at the Lady B Marina. Really friendly place with a chandlery right there in front of you, and I'd really recommend it as a place to stop. You do have to go through a lock to get into the harbour, but it really was a good place. This is leaving Chichester. I've just caught a heron, paddling in the mud, fishing early in the morning, and a bit of other action on the river or on the estuary as we were leaving. East of Brighton you go past the Seven Sisters, which is just catching the early dawn light here, and then you reach Beachy Head, which is a well-known landmark. It's interesting to see there are two lighthouses, one on top and one on the bottom, and the problem with the top one was that you couldn't see the light in the fog, and also the cliffs being eroded, so it had to be moved backwards at least once. And then they moved the lighthouse to the bottom. I think that made it more visible when it was foggy, although obviously the light wouldn't travel as far. I changed my mind a lot when planning this trip, whether to go into Folkestone or Dover, or whether to go into maybe up into Rye, which is quite an interesting harbour to go into, but quite tricky, long narrow entrance, very tide dependent. And in the end I decided just to have a passage stop at Dungeness, which is the most bleak place I ever went past, but I did manage to get a bit of shelter on the east side and get a few hours sleep before carrying on past Dover at 3 in the morning and getting to Ramsgate, where I had a lovely time with a visit from some friends came across from London, and a really nice sunny day. And I have to say it's the only marina showers where the mirrors are heated, and I was quite taken by that. Second half of this video takes us from Ramsgate, Pyfleet Creek, the Deven River, Lowestoft, finally reaching Blakeney Harbour. Crossing the Thames Estuary is very interesting, and with all the sandbanks, which are certainly a lot of them uncovered at low tide, leaving various channels going in a northeast to southwest direction. So where I was going, I'd be crossing all those, and there's a brilliant pilotage guide which basically tells you, according to your destination and your average boat speed, what time to cross the estuary and which little channels to use to go from one big channel to the next. And serendipitously I found an worked example of using this guide on YouTube, which was exactly the passage I wanted to do. So I must confess I used that rather than actually buying the book itself, and it worked out perfectly. I just took this route across, and this is the table that you use where you put in your boat's average boat speed and your time of departure according to high water, and it basically just takes you through how long each section of the trip will take. And this took me across to Pyfleet Creek near Brighton, which is an anchorage I've been into a few times, and it's a lovely sheltered spot, and it's just nice to be in some familiar places and enjoy being back there. Crossing the Thames Estuary, I had a beautiful sort of force 4 breeze with really quite flat sea, and the boat just got in a groove. It's just that brilliant feeling where you set the boat up, sails are balanced, wind vane steering, and apart from checking on the navigation, you just nothing to do but just to sit there and enjoy the passage. And it just went on like this all day. So very satisfying. Just thought I'd show you what a happy skipper looks like. It's a lovely evening, and it's going really nicely. And if I can switch cameras halfway through, but I can do. Wind farm over there. And here's the evidence. 5.2 knots there. 4.9 on the chart because of a bit of tide against us, but going very nicely. So cheers everyone. This is the chart showing where Pyfleet Creek is, and I had a night there before carrying it up further north to the Deben River, where I actually ended up spending a couple of nights. I've been based there for 2 seasons exploring the east coast, so it's really home from home. And I took a visitor's mooring at Waldringfield, and amazingly managed to meet up with Dylan Winter from Keep Turning Left and had supper with him. And then the next night got invited to a barbecue at one of the beach huts by some friends of my sister. So I had a very sociable time there, and then carried on up the river and up the coast, heading for Lowestoft, which again is a place I've been into quite a bit. It's a great harbour for going in, all weather, nice shelter, quite a smart clubhouse there, and I know where the best takeaways are in the town, so had a night in there. And then I had the long trip from Lowestoft around to the top of Norfolk, and this part of the coast has a series of river harbours which usually involve going in over a bar, an hour or two either side of high water, and then getting some shelter. And I decided to go into Blakeney, where I've been I think once or twice before, and you go in past all these shingle or sandbanks where there are literally thousands of seals just laying out on the sand there in the sun. And then you get to this green beacon, which is a marker for where you, as a visitor, where you can anchor on the sand just on the north side. And so I took the ground there for the night. And that leaves me one long passage to do back to the Humber across the Wash, which will be in the next video, and that will see the trip finished. So bye for now.